Hello and welcome to this video series where I pit two randomly selected games from my game collection against each other, with there being absolutely no telling what two games I'll get, especially with my current total of there being 774 games still to be selected. Although I will once again say that not only will this number be going both up and down as games get added and removed, but that also not every single game on this list will be eligible for one reason or another. But despite that, there's still a whole good chunk of games here to be selected. And with that all said, let's spin this wheel and see what two games we get. And now for my second spin. And there you have it, our two randomly selected games for this matchup. The Thing and Fuga Melodies of Steel 2. Now starting off here with The Thing. This is a survival horror game that's supposed to be like a continuation of the movie, where it's all about you fighting off the Thing monsters, like using weapons and even flamethrowers to burn them. And this being a survival horror game means that you're of course like needing to scavenge supplies and be mindful of your ammo. But the big unique sticking point that since this is The Thing, you also have to keep your trust of your partners by giving them weapons, ammo, and items so that way you can build trust between them, as well as you yourself giving them blood tests to see if they're infected or not. And well, having said all that, this is a good game, and even more so if you're a fan of the movie, obviously. But it's just a game that, although I have played before, I haven't gotten that far into, since I'm not really used to these types of classic survival horror games. So for this video, I did start playing it again, and eventually get around to finishing it. But that's really all I gotta say about this game. And with that all said and done, we can now move on to my next game here, Fuga Melodies of Steel 2. And this is a turn-based strategy game that follows a bunch of children commanding a gigantic mega tank. And while this game is very story-heavy, but to make it brief, you follow these children as they go across their war-torn world in order to try and save their friends. And through those travels, you'll not only be going into the aforementioned turn-based battles, where you must make the proper strategic decisions in order to win the battle, like what characters or weapons you have out, or if you want to use a special attack or items. You'll also be buying stuff from the store, upgrading your tank, as well as building the relationships between the children so that way they unlock special abilities. And all of this in the name of trying to prevent yourself from being forced to use the ultimate weapon in the game. That being the Soul Cannon, which forces you to sacrifice a child in order to be used. And I guess I can go into more like the greatly drawn graphics or the great well-written characters, but I do like these to be brief, so I'll stop right here. So with that all said, we are now back to the question of, which of these two games would I rather play? And well, starting off, I said that I wasn't all that familiar with survival horror games, but I'm also not that familiar with strategy games. But if I were to boil it down to which of these two genres I would prefer playing, I do believe I would choose strategy games over survival horror games. Meaning this really all comes down to preference because again, these are two really good games. So with that all said, congratulations Fuga Melodies of Steel 2. You have won this round. And that concludes the video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time to see which two randomly selected games go head to head once again. Bye for now.